The Brooklyn Nets are trading Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. That's been confirmed by our Bill Ryder. The Mavs, in return, will receive Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a package of picks in return. That haul includes a 2027 second-round pick and a first and second-round pick in 2029. The trade ends a 4-year run for Kyrie and Brooklyn, and with that, he now takes his talents out to Dallas in the West Conference to join a squad that is 6th in the Western Conference currently. You take a look at that package. Markieff Morris also will be heading to the Mavs to join forces with Kyrie and now Luka Doncic out there in Dallas. The Nets, we mentioned, in return will get Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a few picks highlighted by that unprotected first-round selection in 2029. We mentioned Bill Ryder, so it's only right that we bring him in right now. Bill, this shocking news. We knew that Kyrie likely was going to be traded ever since he first announced that he wanted to be traded, and that news broke. Now that you see that it ends up being Dallas and not some of the others like the Lakers or the Clippers who were in the running and wanted to bring in Kyrie, what's your reaction here?
Yeah, Zach, my reaction is it's a pretty nice return for the Brooklyn Nets. I know yesterday several folks, including GMs around the NBA, were just skeptical whether, given Kyrie's struggles and difficulties and some of the issues that have made him less appealing to other teams out there, given all of that, whether Kyrie would command the kind of return that Brooklyn was certainly going to want, because they're effectively giving up on their season. It is not a bad haul for Brooklyn, given the circumstances and given the fact that Kyrie had not only said he wanted to be traded, but in the last 2 hours, the reporting had come out that he might sit if he wasn't moved. And when you're in that kind of a corner, it's sometimes hard to get what you want coming back. I think Brooklyn did that. And now the question becomes, is the juice worth the squeeze for Dallas? Sources yesterday told me they were one of the 2 or maybe 3 teams, the Lakers and maybe the Clippers, who would be interested enough to perhaps drive the price up. They've surrounded Luka Doncic with a star. He's obviously mercurial. It'll be very interesting, Zach, to see whether or not this leads to success for Dallas the rest of the way.
Yeah, we'll certainly circle back on Brooklyn and what this means for them going forward. But you look at this Dallas squad currently sitting at 28 and 26 in the Western Conference, 9.5 games back of Denver. We knew that they needed another piece. That became very apparent, especially when Luka missed some time, and you heard Jason Kidd say they need someone to step up. That was at one time Spencer Dinwiddie. But ever since losing Jalen Brunson, it seems like that they've missed him desperately. So now they get a piece like Kyrie. What can this do for Dallas?
It depends how you view Kyrie Irving. He's a litmus test. He's a Rorschach test, I should say. People see in him whatever they think about Kyrie Irving, the player and leader. I can tell you some GMs out there think that he is worth whatever difficulties come with Kyrie Irving, and some don't. I'm probably in the camp that is skeptical it's going to work out, but Zach, you hit on it. You've got another all-world scorer. You've got help for Luka Doncic, the kind of offensive help that you have to have, especially when you get into playoff basketball, best-of-7 series, rotations that shorten up, defenses that tend to improve, half-court offenses. You're not going to run and gun as much. And so if Kyrie can replicate not just his talent, but the success we saw him have with LeBron James in Cleveland, Dallas becomes absolutely good enough in a really crowded Western Conference, especially with the question marks around Steph Curry and his health. Dallas becomes good enough to be a real contender. We've seen Luka Doncic carry this team basically by himself. They had Brunson, but basically by himself to a conference finals. And so Kyrie Irving's addition on paper, I think it makes them a contender. The issue becomes, Zach, and the reason not as many teams were in a bidding war for Kyrie Irving as they might have been 2 or 3 years ago, if we've seen Kyrie hold his organization hostage. We've seen him miss time for a variety of reasons. And the stats are the stats. This is a Brooklyn team that has been statistically better. They've won more games when he has sat than when he has played. So it's hard to know who you're getting in Kyrie Irving, but for a team like Dallas, desperate to do something right now and to surround Luka Doncic with someone, it's a risk that makes sense.
Is it a risk that you think is going to be worth it? Kyrie's contract is up at the end of this year. Do you think he would consider re-signing there, or is this just a one half of a season opportunity for Dallas to strike gold here?
It's a great question. It's the big question. I guess there's a few answers. One, that would be quite a sizable gamble by Dallas that they don't think Kyrie was going to stick around. I was talking to a league source yesterday, literally asked him, Zach, the exact question you asked me. If Kyrie goes somewhere that's not Los Angeles, California. So Dallas was the example I used. But I said, let's say it's a Dallas or a Chicago or somewhere that we haven't had indications in the past Kyrie wants to stay. Will he stick around if he's traded there? And this league source, familiar with Kyrie's thinking and familiar with some of the teams involved, told me the view around the NBA is that Kyrie simply wants to find a place that he can win and that he can get paid, an organization that will pay him, let's say 4 years, more or less a max deal. So I would assume, Zach, that Dallas is back-channeled with Kyrie Irving and the people representing him, and that the understanding is that they will offer him some kind of a deal that he's amenable to, and that he will take that deal, which is, I guess, a long-rounded way to say, yeah, I think he will stay there. I can't imagine Dallas would have made this move if they didn't think he was going to stick around. But again, the Nets also thought they were getting something in Kyrie Irving. They didn't. We know Kyrie can change his mind. So it's an open-ended question. I think he'll stay, but you never know where Kyrie's going to be in a month or a couple months after this experience in Dallas and whether it goes well or whether it goes badly.
I think one thing that's for sure you really can't debate is that Kyrie's the top 5 point guard in this league right now when he's out there playing. How does he match up with Luka on the field? Who's going to be on the court? Who's going to be the one on the ball? How are they going to make that work? And will it result in success?
Well, I'll respectfully disagree. I think it is debatable, and I think that's the big issue with Kyrie.